Hey guys, today I'm going to show you the basics of Adobe Premiere Pro and how to edit just your footage together and some basic tricks and exposures and everything. So first you have to start by opening up Premiere Pro and then you press new project. I recommend plugging a hard drive in to save your videos on, because otherwise the export files can be very big, and you'll see the reason in a minute. So when we press new project, you name it whatever you want. You can save it wherever you want as well. I'm just going to save it on my hard drive. Also, if you don't have much room left on your computer, I recommend going to scratch this and changing the captured video and the video previews to your hard drive. Otherwise it will save it to your C drive, and if you don't have much room, then it will probably slow down your computer. So leave all of this the same, and I'll name mine tutorial, and hit OK, and just wait for it to load. Okay, so once you've got it open, you'll have the project tab here where you'll drag all your footage into, the timeline that I'll discuss in a moment, and where it will show your actual footage up here once you have it in the timeline. So you start by grabbing your footage wherever it is. I'm just using my previous assignment as an example. Drag it into here. You can minimize that. It will import the video. You can hover your mouse over it to preview it. And then what you have to do is you have to drag the video into the timeline to make it editable. Sometimes you have to wait. As you can see down here, it says conforming. That means that my video hasn't fully imported yet. So you have to wait for that to load. Now see how you've got this if it's a really long video like mine, it's not that long, it's only like 6 minutes, but it's going to take up most of the timeline. So down here you can grab the end of this scroll bar and you can change the size of it, drag it all the way out, and it makes all of this smaller, because that means you have to scroll less to get to the end. And if you want more time, see, I think this goes for 16 minutes, or yeah, I'm not sure how long this exactly goes for, but it just automatically conforms it to your video, but we'll discuss that later. So to start off, if you drag some footage in and you wanted to and you recorded the audio separately or something, and you didn't want the audio that you have in it currently, you can just click here, right click, go to unlink, and it will unlink the audio, so you can edit and cut them separately. Also, as I explained before, up here, this is where it shows the video, and you can scrub the playhead to preview all the different parts of your video. And going back to the track, once you've unlinked it, you can just click it and press delete, and that audio is no longer there, it's only the visuals. And you can get a audio track up, which I'll get one up now, like the Seinfeld theme here. We can drag it into there, drag it as we did before over to here, like we did with the video, and then it will be right underneath, and it will preview the audio. If you wanted to keep your audio, we could undo deleting it, and we could relink it if we wanted to by just pressing Ctrl Z to undo. We can re-drag back down the Seinfeld theme, because when we undone the actions, it got rid of the audio file. Bring it under, and you can have it underneath the other audio file, and they'll play over each other. Okay, so to cut footage, what you want to do is you want to scrub the playhead to where you want to cut the footage. I want to cut it here. You'll zoom in by moving this smaller, and you'll press C on your keyboard and hover over exactly where the playhead is, or where you want to cut it, and click, and then find an out point, and then cut that as well. press V to have the mouse. If you want to cut this side or something or that side, you can click it, but I want to cut the middle, and you just press delete, and then you can click and drag these pieces of footage back together. And this works with other like just if you want to put videos into the timeline, you can drag another video there and then cut and put all of it together. Okay, so now I'm going to delete all this from the timeline, and I'll show you how I color correct some parts. Like if you've got underexposed footage, like this footage here is lots of it's clearly underexposed. I'll show you this one. I'll drag this in. I'm going to unlink the audio because I don't need it. And you can see here that the camera is out of focus for a while at the beginning, and also I'm sitting down at the beginning, so that's just an example of what I would cut out. And you can see how pretty much all of the footage is underexposed. So what you do is you'll click the video, and over here, lumetri color, it should be here. Otherwise you will go to this little like 2 arrows here, select that, press effects, and then type lumetri color. That should come up. There's presets here, so you can use them anyway from there. Anyway, so it should be here, so you select this, and there's an exposure control here. Depending on what camera you used, it will have different shadows and highlights, so you might not be able to bring back all the detail from the footage. So what you do is you bring the exposure up, and now you can see if I bring it all the way up, it's overexposed, but if you just bring it up a little bit, it makes everything much nicer. You can pump that contrast up to bring all the colors, or darken more of the colors, but still keep the exposure similar. I usually bring the highlights down a little bit, because when you bring the exposure up, it brings the highlights up. Bring the shadows up a tiny bit, because I can bring the whites down. I'll bring the blacks down a bit, that's a little bit better. And you can change the temperature, like I can make this image warmer, or I can make it cooler depending on what I want, and I can also change the tint as well. So that's just really an example of what you can do to color correct it. Also up here you've got different styles and looks. These ones are more just camera looks, but if you go down to creative and you choose look, you can go through and you can choose like blue intense or something, and you can change the intensity of the look. Or you can like have it on clean punch, HDR, anything that you like. So, and also if you go down to curves, you can change the shadow. I'm not really going to get into this is more just basic stuff, but that's just in case your footage is underexposed and you don't think you can fix it, you can in here. There's just exposure, and just change those around a bit until you get a footage that you like. So now I'll show you how to put photos into it. So if I go into my photography file and I'll go to Murray Bridge, I'll just get a random photo that I took, like this one here. You want that in there, you just drag it in like a video, wait for it to load up, and we can have, I'll drag it over the top of my footage, and the image is actually scaled differently to the video, so you need to double click and drag it to move it along to one of the corners. It's a very large image, so I'll just move it. Okay, I got one of the corners now, and you can see that because my computer's lagging, it's not really scaling properly, but scale it down as much as you can, and then we can drag it back over. Scale it down a little bit more. It's a bit tedious if your computer's lagging like how mine is, but or if it's a really high resolution image, it takes a little bit longer, but it's okay at the moment. The image is alright, so if we just drag it over again and drag it back down. We should be able to get a little miniature image. And now we can move it up here or something, or move it any way you would like it in the frame. And see, and just click out of it and it will keep it there. See here, this is how long the image will last for, then it will disappear when it goes out of there. So you can change that by going to the end and dragging the in and out points. So you can zoom in more so you can have more of an accurate representation of where the in and out points are. You can cut it also by pressing C, and you can cut the in and out points of the image. Also, if you want to add text as well, you can do that. You right click in the project tab and you press new item and you can choose title, and I'll just name it, oh, it's already called title 1, so I don't need to name it anything. And it will show you a preview of what it's going to look like, and you can type over the top of this. So I'll just type I don't know, example or something, and then it's in a weird font. It's always in this font when you type, so you need to change this font unless you want it like that. You go up to font family and you go all the way down and you choose a font that you like, and then you can change the font size by moving this up, change the color. You can also add a background as well, which is down here. You can tick that and then it will fill in all the background, but I'll just leave that for now. You can choose the mouse, you can drag it back over this way, you can put it up there, you can press X and it will automatically save, and you can drag it straight over the top and insert it. It just split apart my footage. That happens sometimes. It's alright, you can just drag all of it back together. But here's an example of the word example being put over the footage. I'll show you transitions of images, like, so you can change the scale of it. So if you go to effect controls for this one, you can drag this playhead here all the way to the very beginning, and you can go motion. These are keyframes here, so it will change depending on how long it's going for. You'll get what I mean in a minute. So if I choose scale, at the very beginning here it's its original scale that I set it to, and if I go like around here or something and I want it to be bigger, I can just drag that slider up. And you can also, well, that's a bit too big, but you get what I mean. And then over, if you drag the playhead back, it'll show you it zooming in or something, and then you can also keyframe the position. So at that point I want it to go down here, or something like that, and then we'll zoom in and move into that position. So that's just pretty basic, and you can do that for text as well. You can also put videos over the top as like images and scale them to different spots, but that uses a lot of processing power and it can mess it up at times. That's really the basics of it, I would say. You can change the opacity down there as well, and you can do more advanced things, like duplicating subjects, but that's not really important for this at the moment. I did use that in the last one, but it's not really a basic thing to know. Also, once you've finished your video, which this isn't finished, but anyway, you'll go File if it's finished, Export, and you'll choose Media. And you'll click the output name here, and that will bring up a directory for you to save it somewhere. Choose H264, That's the easiest. Maximum render quality. Make sure these arrows here are to the end of each one. That means it's exporting your whole video. And then press Q, then it will bring up the media encoder. You'll press run, and then it will run it and export it. Sometimes it can take hours depending on what your footage is. So mine took overnight last time, so you just leave it in charge and just let it go. You can also change like the opacity and everything, but that's pretty much it. So I hope that helps for whatever you're going to use it for. Thanks for watching.